I'm just going to start all the way over. Good morning. Welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community of diverse beliefs and experiences, nurturing the liberal religious spirit and united by our desire to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, you are welcome here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, once or twice a year, or are with us this morning for the first time, we are glad you are here. I'm Reverend Sharon Wiley, Chalice's minister. Welcome to this online worship service. Welcome to those of you watching live Sunday morning using Zoom, and welcome to those of you who are watching the recording of this service later on Chalice's YouTube channel. For those of us using Zoom, please notice on your menu that there's a button that says CC Live Transcript. That is Zoom's closed captioning service, and you can click on it to hide the subtitle or show the subtitle. You're in control of whether that function is on or off. Also on your menu is the chat button. For those of you who like to use the chat during the service, which you're welcome to do, please be sure that when you post that you've used the little blue drop-down menu to select panelists and attendees. If you only post to panelists, then it only comes to me, and we want to use the chat for everyone to share together. So let's all give ourselves a big hug of hello, good morning, welcome. I want to especially welcome those of you who are newcomers at Chalice. Towards the end of the service, I'll post a link in the chat box for adding your name to our email list. Our weekly email is the best way to get information about the many online groups and activities we offer using Zoom. And once you're on our email list, you'll receive information about our monthly gathering for newcomers. Our service this morning is led by our congregation's Green Team in honor of Earth Day. I'm so grateful for this special service, and I know you will appreciate it. But before we begin, I want to name that this past week has been especially traumatizing, as police violence against Black people, against Black children, has made the news again. I have seen your Facebook posts about your rage and your feelings of hopelessness. So I just want to start by reminding you that you are not alone. You are not alone in your rage, not alone in feeling overwhelmed by all that needs to change, and not alone in knowing that we have a long, hard road ahead of us to make things better. It is okay to take time to grieve and to lament. And we'll also have time to share with each other during the joys and sorrows part of the service. Now, let's take a breath together.
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say, it's all right. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say, it's all right. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say, it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling, I see the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say, it's alright. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say, it's alright. It's alright.
Good morning. I'm Victoria Tenbrink of the Chalice Green Team. Today I acknowledge that both Chalice and my own home reside on land that was cared for over thousands of years as the ancestral home of the Kumeya'i and the Luiseno peoples. Welcome to this Earth Day worship service. Earth Day was first celebrated in 1970 to honor the earth and to participate in environmental teach-ins. Since then, the environmental movement has grown in this country, but our problems have grown faster. In particular, human-caused climate change, which was already underway in 1970 but was barely recognized, is gravely and deeply impacting our home. In our call to worship today, we join together to hold our pain and fear, our hope and healing. We recognize that our spirituality is intertwined with our relationship with Earth and with our work for environmental justice. We know that forging a new path that corrects our missteps is not the work of one day, but we take this one day to focus our attention and affirm our intention. In this service of the four traditional elements, water, fire, air, and earth, join the Green Sanctuary team as we celebrate fire, in particular the fire of the sun. Come, let us worship together.
On Christmas Eve, 1968, astronaut Bill Anders snapped a photo of the Earth as Apollo 8 orbited the moon. Those three guys were surprised to see from their eyes a planet looked like an Earthrise, a blue orb hovering over the moon's gray horizon with deep oceans and silver skies. It was our world's first glance at itself, a first chance to see a shared reality, a declared stance, and a commonality, a glimpse into our planet's mirror. And as threats drew nearer, our own urgency became clearer as we realized that we hold nothing dearer than this floating body we all call home. We've known that we're caught in the throes of climactic changes some say will just go away, while some simply pray to survive another day. For it is the obscure, the oppressed, the poor who, when the disaster is declared done, still suffer more than anyone. climate change is the single greatest challenge of our time. Of this, you're certainly aware. It's saddening, but I cannot spare you from knowing an inconvenient fact, because it's getting the facts straight that gets us to act and not to wait. So I tell you this not to scare you, but to prepare you, to dare you to dream a different reality where, despite disparities, we all care to protect this world, this riddled blue marvel, this little true marvel, to master the verve and the nerve to see how we can serve our planet. You don't need to be a politician to make it your mission to conserve, to protect, to preserve that one and only home that is ours. To use your unique power to give next generations the planet they deserve. We are demonstrating, creating, advocating. We heed this inconvenient truth because we need to be anything but lenient with the future of our youth. And while this is a training in sustaining the future of our planet, there is no rehearsal. The time is now, because the reversal of harm and protection of a future so universal should be anything but controversial. So, Earth, pale blue dots, we will fail you not, just as we chose to go to the moon. We know it's never too soon to choose hope. We choose to do more than cope with climate change. We choose to end it. We refuse to lose. We do this and more, not because it's very easy or nice, but because it is necessary. Because with every dawn, we carry the weight of the fates of this celestial body orbiting a star. And as heavy as that weight sounded, it doesn't hold us down, but it keeps us grounded, steady, ready, because an environmental movement of this size is simply another form of an earthrise. To see it, close your eyes, visualize that all of us in this room and outside of these walls or in these halls, all of us change makers, or in a spacecraft floating like a silver raft in space, and we see the face of a planet anew. We relish the view, we witness its round green and brilliant blue, which inspires us to ask deeply, wholly, what can we do? Open your eyes, know the future of this wise planet is right in sight, right in all of us. Trust this earth uprising, all of us bring light to exciting solutions never tried before, for it is our hope that implores us at our uncompromising core to keep rising up for an earth more than worth fighting for.
Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by sharing our joys and sorrows. If you would like to share a joy or sorrow with the congregation this morning, now is the time for sharing in the chat box. These won't be spoken out loud. If you'd like to send me a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, please email me. I'll put my email address in the chat box.
got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul.
Dear Sunshine, I want you to know that even though you are way up there, you are keeping me warm all day. When I am splashing in water, I stay warm because of your rays. The flowers and trees count on you because you help them stay tall and green. From the deer in the forest to the frogs on the lily pad, each animal loves the warmth you give them. I know you are there when the skies are snowy. I know you are there when the skies are rainy. I know you are there, sunshine, all ready to shine after the thunder sounds are over. You are twice as pretty when there is a rainbow. You give us sunrises, you leave us sunsets. All fruits need your light, all veggies need your warmth. Thank you, sun, for being so bright and bringing us warmth and light.
The world will celebrate Earth Day on Thursday. There would be little life on Earth without the sun. Today I want to explore with you how we use the power of the sun. The sun is intimately connected to us in the web of life. If spirit is a force within a person that gives life, energy, and power, then the sun is part of the human spirit. Because along with almost all living things on Earth, we are sun-powered. To our core, you and I are solar beings. Here's how it works. The sun energizes plants that are the basis of almost all of the food we eat. In a nifty trick, plants breathe in carbon dioxide and use the sun's energy to turn it into energy-rich organic molecules. All the food crops humans grow store the power of the sun. Animals get that energy when they eat plants. By eating plants or animals, we're eating sunlight. In the cycle of life, fungi and bacteria help plants and animals decay and release their carbon as carbon dioxide. Some plants that do this include peanuts, strawberries, and sugarcane. With those plants, we can fill a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The energy in a PB&J will fuel me for a few hours, but it won't fuel a jet for even a second. No, for jets and for my car, we use fossilized sunlight. It's a portable and highly concentrated form of energy. Several forms of fossilized sunlight are familiar: natural gas, which is mostly made of methane, coal, and petroleum, which we call oil. These three so-called fossil fuels are part of a more complex cycle than our food cycle. The formation of fossil fuels starts with plants and tiny sea creatures, but the plot thickens. You have to squeeze a lot of plant and animal matter to make coal and oil. During warm times on Earth, plentiful dead plants and sea creatures were mushed, crushed, buried, and squeezed for millions of years. So although both plants and fossil fuels are filled with solar energy, fossil fuels are absolutely bursting with it. All of the solar energy and carbon stored in a field of peanut plants could be stored in a bucket of coal or a barrel of oil. In some ways, fossil fuels are like a large genie after it's been forced into a very small lamp. Without human intervention, the fossil fuel carbon genie leaks very, very slowly out of the lamp. But as humans dig or pump it out of the ground and then burn it, the carbon genie roars out of the lamp. Burning fossil fuels releases massive amounts of stored solar energy. That's why we do it. My compact car runs with the energy of 100 horses by burning oil that has been refined into gasoline. Not a single horse can run 90 miles an hour like my car can. I can go farther and faster than my ancestors could due to fossil fuels. Releasing the fossil fuel genies unleashed an explosion of technology that transformed life on Earth. But there was an unfortunate downside to this energy marvel, and it has to do with the greenhouse effect. Some gases in our atmosphere behave like the clear walls of a greenhouse, reflecting escaping heat back to Earth. Methane and carbon dioxide are greenhouse gases. We need them, but a little bit goes a long way. A good balance of gases in the air give us what's called our Goldilocks climate. Not too hot, not too cold, but just right for the web of life that supports us today. When we burn fossil fuels, we add to the methane and carbon dioxide that's already in the air. It's like adding too many blankets on the bed. The extra blankets did not come from the ordinary surface cycle of growth and decay. No, the fossil fuel cycle is deep, and it definitely affects the climate. It can start with small changes in Earth's orbit, triggering warming, which increases coal and oil formation. This pulls carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and puts it into long-term storage. With less carbon dioxide in the air, the Earth cools. But eventually, carbon belches out during periods of intense volcanic activity, burps out of the ocean, and seeps out of cracks in the Earth's crust. This contributes to rewarming the Earth, and the cycle continues. The deep cycle happens over thousands or even millions of years. Because of the time frame, the fossil fuel cycle produces non-renewable energy. Today, we are adding the deep cycle to the surface cycle as we burn ever more fossil fuels. This is jolting the atmosphere out of balance, pitching us headlong into a warming greenhouse Earth. The speed of the change is making it impossible for many forms of life to adapt. When the greenhouse effect was first discovered by European scientists back in the 1800s, it was not too late to slow climate change and the havoc it causes. Unfortunately, the fossil fuel industry is very profitable, and the lifestyle is very comfortable. No one wanted to listen to the scientists. little effort was put into better ways of harnessing the sun's energy. In fact, we even went backwards. Some great renewable energy technology was shelved. One was farm windmills, which harness air currents generated by the sun. Across the landscape, these were fitted with gas-powered pumps because the pumps needed less maintenance and gas was cheap. By the late 1900s, evidence was piling up that our Goldilocks climate was in danger. Now we are witnessing epic climate events that are wreaking havoc on life on Earth. And the sixth of Earth's mass extinctions is accelerating. This is the first mass extinction caused by humans. Not just the climate is suffering from our misuse of the sun's energy. People worldwide are suffering too, and it's not just due to climate disasters. Do you have an oil refinery or fossil fuel power plant in your backyard? I'm guessing not, but you can guess where they are. They are in places that lack money and political power. I recently lived in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, home to an ExxonMobil oil refinery that is one of the largest on Earth. In my part of town, due to distance and prevailing winds, I rarely smelled and never saw the refinery. But the shoulder of the refinery sits against the lowest income part of the city, where communities of color are concentrated. Those citizens see and smell that refinery and are exposed to its risks every day. Closer to home, over 250,000 people live within 3 miles of the Torrance Refining Company, site of an explosion in 2015. Shifts to renewable energy ease the burdens of neighborhoods in Baton Rouge and Torrance. Even closer to home, areas surrounding Barrio Logan suffer from tailpipe and industrial air pollution. These and many other places across the country are on the front lines of environmental injustice because their air, land, and water are continually soiled by the fossil fuel economy. Millions of our brothers and sisters of color are disproportionately located in polluted communities because of the mires of racism and poverty. But I don't want to leave us there, stuck in the problem. Yes, we've made mistakes and continue to make them. But this story ends with hope. The sun, which is the energizer of life, the energizer of our way of life, can help equalize massive injustice. The sun can render obsolete our polluting fossil fuel industry that shortens the lives of so many. There is hope because the sun, which provided all the concentrated energy of fossil fuels, continues to shine every day. As it shines, it opens up renewable sources of energy to power our lives and slow human-induced climate change. Modern turbines aren't our grandparents' windmills. The sun evaporates ocean water into clouds that rain, generating torrents that can be harnessed for energy. The sun even contributes to the mostly moon-driven motion of the tides, which are being harnessed for energy. Finally, in Southern California and all over the world, the sun's energy can be captured directly to produce electricity and hot water. The forces of nature are showing us a path out of our energy-climate dilemma. Each of us has a part to play. Energy efficiency is important. We know that older types of light bulbs are big energy wasters. Highly efficient LED lights were recently installed in the Chalice sanctuary, bringing us closer to a carbon-free campus. Lighting is just one efficiency fix. Many manufactured items come from countries that rely heavily on coal and then are shipped along long distances using oil. Minimizing consuming things from far away minimizes our fossil fuel carbon footprint. Shopping locally sourced food, especially produce, is easy and saves in many ways. But we are going to use some energy, and how we get that energy is key. We use energy to heat or cool air, cook food, wash clothes. According to San Diego Gas and Electric's website, more than half of our region's power comes from burning natural gas, which is mostly the fossil fuel methane. It is pumped out of the ground in Texas and New Mexico and sent all the way to Southern California through gas pipelines. Consider this. Rooftop and community solar, coupled with energy storage, have the potential to do all our household tasks in Southern California. When we substitute today's solar energy for ancient fossil fuel solar energy, We leave carbon dioxide generating carbon in the ground. We can leave the carbon genie in the lamp. Today we marvel at the wonderful ways the universe works. The bright star at the center of our solar system has a central role in our very existence. We give thanks to the sun for giving us food and energy, warming and coloring our home. We are grateful for the warmth of the sun's rays on our shoulders. But our seventh principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, asks something of us in return. Knowing the story of fossil fuels and how their carbon is damaging life on Earth, it is upon us to help restore balance. It takes every one of us to help keep the carbon genie in the lamp by using the sun's energy wisely. And that means minimizing our part in fossil fuel problems and maximizing our part in solar and other renewable energy solutions. The Chalice Green Team wants to work with you toward eliminating our collective carbon footprint. Working together, we can make the future brighter for coming generations. May it be so.
Low below me, I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I have traveled, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry seas, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, read the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I've traveled, and the earth is my blue boat home.
The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. As Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron writes, generosity is an activity that loosens us up. By offering whatever we can, $1, a flower, a word of encouragement, we are training in letting go. Please text your donation to Chalice. If you haven't texted a donation before, know that once you text the amount, you'll get a reply with a link to follow to enter your credit card information. And once you've entered that information once, when you've donated, you won't need to enter it again for future donations. If your Sunday donation is part of your pledge payment, Please be sure to indicate the word pledge after the dollar amount. And also note that you can make a text donation anytime. Doesn't need to be just during the worship service. So the phone number will be on screen in a moment, and I'll also put it in the chat box. Please give generously. Please join in dedicating our offering with words of affirmation. As we gather in community, we agree to honor the diverse and wonderful talents among us, to use our creative gifts to express our aspirations, to share joy through laughter and play, to engage our care and attention, minds and hands, to create together beauty and meaning, and so to let our light shine for the world.
My name is Jeff Hayes. When I explored the use of solar energy for my home in 2013, upon moving to San Diego, I was surprised to learn that not only did I not have to pay any upfront costs for a solar system, I immediately saved money on my monthly electric bill. In other words, not only did going solar make environmental sense, it also made financial sense. Ever since then, I have wondered what is holding others back from making this transition to a clean energy future. Until becoming part of the Chalice Green Sanctuary team, I had not considered taking action on this lingering question. Now I have some answers. Today I'd like to share the purpose and results of our Congregational Solar Survey. To start with the purpose, the Green Sanctuary team heard from many of you that solar energy should be a focus for Chalice, and the Unitarian Universalist Association encourages climate change action. For accreditation as green sanctuaries, congregations must conduct an opportunity assessment, identifying opportunities and challenges for mitigating the climate change crisis, adapting and building resilience to impacts of the crisis, and securing justice by collaborating with marginalized communities most impacted by, but least responsible for the crisis. Expanding the use of solar energy in our local area addresses all three of these objectives. Reducing the greenhouse gas emissions of energy use directly mitigates the climate change crisis. Climate experts tell us that San Diego will experience longer and more severe heat waves due to climate change. A key measure for reducing the public health impacts of these heat waves is to make air conditioning affordable for all residents. Solar energy can accomplish this, especially if made more accessible to low-income communities. As our team explored the possibilities for expanding the use of solar, it became clear that we needed to start by looking inward at our current congregational use of solar and any barriers to its use. Julia Fogel took the lead by developing a simple survey with team input that was sent to all Chalice members and friends on March 12th. Thanks to everyone who responded. And if you didn't, but would still like to, we will still accept your responses using the email address shown in the chat. Altogether, 25 households responded. 60% of households that responded are using some form of solar energy at their homes. More than 75% of those who aren't using solar would consider doing so in the future. The common barriers to solar installation included cost, low enough energy use that solar may not be cost effective, homeowners association concerns. This one is interesting because the new California Solar Rights Act made it so that HOAs can't actually prevent you from installing solar, although they can influence the design. And uncertainty of the relative benefit of solar energy. There was unanimous support among respondents for installing solar at Chalice, along with important considerations to take into account. And 7 of those who responded are interested in helping our team with this initiative. Our next step is to use this information to begin building a solar energy ambassador program for Chalice to help address the educational needs of people that want to install solar but need to know more to do so. We also plan to bring the Chalice solar installation discussion to the board to determine next steps.
Good morning, Chalice. This is Lena with the Green Team, and I have with me the Green Box. This box holds all the prizes that are going to be distributed for the folks who submitted their solar surveys. We fortunately were able to get enough prizes that everyone who submitted a survey will get something, but there are going to be 10 people who get to select their prizes first. And they are in this bag, and I will draw that in just a moment so you can see who it is. Some of the prizes are plastic-free Band-Aids and with little pandas or different designs on them. There are core balls which go in your washing machine, and they collect little microfibers that will help keep microfibers out of the water system, that will help protect the animals in the ocean. There are some solid shampoo and conditioner bars, plastic-free of course, plastic-free toothbrushes. There are also some plastic-free tubes of toothpaste, which I use and it's fantastic. Plastic-free poop bags for your animal, bag clips, etc. Lots and lots of wonderful things. So let's start drawing names and see who wins. All right, so the first person, oops, I drew 2. Okay, the first one is Richard Kortz. He's number 1. Number 2 is Laura Brown. Let's see, that's number 3. Number 3 is Callie Leaf. Number 4 is Susan Llewellyn. Number 5 is Paula Gonzalez. Number 6 is Carol Mullick. Number 7 is Judy Fallow. And what number are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 8 is, oops, drew 2 again, Jean Meadowcroft. Number 9, Jody Kravitz. Let's see who number 10 is. I hope it's me, just kidding. Judy Wynn. All right, so I will be contacting those 10 folks, letting them choose first, and then the rest of you who submitted, thank you so much. You will be contacted after the first 10 so you can have a prize yourself. All right, thank you so much.
We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around.
We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around.
living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around.
We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around.
We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around.
Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life.
Do you know who I am?
Do I know who you are?
See we one another clearly.
Do we know who we are?
Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are?
Oh,
Do you know who I am?
I
Do
know.
I know who you are?
See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are?
Whoa, so is life. So is life. Whoa, so is life. So is life.
Da 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 da. Whoa,
Water makes the river, river washes mountain. Fire makes the sunlight turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around.
we are of the Spirit, truly of the Spirit. Only can the Spirit turn the world around. We are of the Spirit, truly of the Spirit. Only can the Spirit turn the world around.
Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life.
Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are?
Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? See we know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are?
Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are?
Whoa, so is life. So is life. Whoa, so is life. So is life.
Our closing words are adapted from words by Diana Smith. As we go forth from our sacred spaces, may we celebrate the earth, the sun, and our shared lives. May we recognize our connections and value deeply all that exists. In this awesome interconnected web of existence, may we commit ourselves to a new way, and may we hold our commitments and each other gently yet firmly.